Good morning. It's Mr. OGDFS. It's my Fanduel slate breakdown for Wednesday, December 15th, 2021. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and break down the slate. Let's start at the point guard position. Up top, we got Trae Young, 10,100. Trae Young has been balling. 53, 54, 55 fantasy points his last three. His price has risen to 10,100. Going against the Orlando Magic on the road. Trae Young, vital part of their success, and I believe he's definitely going to be in my player pool. DeJounte Murray, $9,300. DeJounte Murray, last time 33 minutes against the Pelicans, he put up a triple double, 47 fantasy points. He's at 9,300. Going up against a pace up spot, very fast game. Charlotte and San Antonio, both fast teams. I like DeJounte Murray as well, 9,300. Russell Westbrook, 9,200 on the road against a good defensive team in Dallas. So compared to the other two options, I don't like him as much. However, depending on the news with AD, Russell Westbrook could definitely become more of a asset at his price with more usage and potential there. Dame Lillard just played last night. He playing at home again against the Memphis Grizzlies, $8,700. Dame Lillard put up 47 fantasy points. They did go to OT, but Dame Lillard was balling. And at 8,700, 47, he's definitely a core piece as well. Shai Gilgeous against New Orleans Pels. He put up 35 fantasy points last time. Tough matchup against Dallas. Definitely a more softer matchup. Lou Dort is out. Shai Gilgeous definitely need to be looked at. Donovan Mitchell against the Clippers. I don't really like Mitchell as much. White, his price has risen tremendously, but last game out, put up 60 fantasy points against New Orleans. You definitely want to consider him there. D'Lo, he's questionable. Keep an eye out for him, but compared to the other options and, everyone else from Minnesota being back, including Pat Bev, I don't like him compared to any of the other guys. Cole Anthony, right now, he's putting up a high amount of minutes. However, he hasn't had the production, but they are going against Atlanta. So if it is a close game, Cole Anthony will have to ball out. Now, here you go with Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday last time put up 41 fantasy points. No Giannis. A lot of players is missing. And also your boy Chris Middleton. He is questionable. There's a chance he may or may not play. I might lean towards him not playing, and if so, Drew Holiday gonna instantly be one of the best plays on the slate. Fox against Washington. De'Aaron Fox, he's been playing. Last time he put up almost 5x. I don't like him compared to the other options, as well as Rozier. I don't really like them as much, even though it's a pace up game. They overpriced right now for Charlotte, so I'm not really looking to play any Charlotte players today. Garland against Houston, I think at 7,500, he's got meat on the bone to be able to get extra fantasy points against Houston in a sweet matchup. Malcolm Brogdon going against a Bucks team, put up 46 last time. I think he definitely has to be considered for Indiana. Kyle Lowry without Butler and Bam. Kyle Lowry, last few games he's been overvalued, so I definitely think against Philly, it's a rival type matchup for Lowry. I like him there. Now, Jalen Brunson, no Luka. Jalen Brunson, 6,200. Instantly one of the better plays automatically in the slate going against pace up against the Lakers. So Jalen Brunson will be in control of the Dallas offense and should be a key. Dropping down, Will Barton, I believe, is probable today. So they've risen the price on Monte Morris, which makes him, even though he's been balling, if Barton does come back, in fact, then that makes him a little less playable because they've overpriced him. Reggie Jackson, I would normally like him, but with Paul George potentially, I think, and Batum questionable. I don't like Jackson today. Now, Tyus Jones, I do like 5,800. He's he put up almost value in only 24 minutes against Philly. In a competitive game, I like Tyus Jones to produce well. So I look at him as a definitely like more of a core play. And drop down Pat Bev. Pat Bev back playing the minutes. And Pat Bev, when you see him over 30 minutes, he definitely can produce against Denver. So I'm looking at him. Now, Ricky Rubio, because I believe Cleveland should, dominate Houston. Rubio off the bench, 26, 27 minutes. He has potential to, put 30 or more fantasy points tonight. Um, and at this moment, dropping down, you got Vincent, but I'm not really interested in paying down for him. Augustine, I will say that he played 22 minutes and produced. And with Eric Gordon out tonight against Cleveland, Augustine has potential. Now, moving to the shooting guard position. Once again, let's get down to some of that. Now, Beal going against Sacramento. I will say this about Bradley Beal. He's playing high minutes, and it's only a matter of time before he has a real 40 or 50 point real point game. So Beal, $8,200 definitely has to be considered, I think, on this slate. I mean, what would you rather pay for $8,200 Beal or $8,100 Cole Anthony in a tougher matchup? So dropping down, don't really like Charlotte today, only just because they're overpriced from their normal pricing. Desmond Bain, his price got raised up a few games back, I believe, with Brooks being out, and it never dropped back down. So even though I like Bain, I just think he's a little bit overpriced. We love Jalen Brunson. Tyler Hero is questionable. If Tyler Hero doesn't play, you're looking at a guy like Max Strus, and as well as Vincent to have a lot more production in the offense. Dylan Brooks, 6,200. I feel like Dylan Brooks is pretty much a safe play where he should hit value, and he has the potential to get a little more fantasy points over or at least over 5x. And Pat Connaughton, even though he's overpriced, his role has become important. So I think there's not much room for upside there, but Karis LeVert does. He's 6,000. He put up 48.9, two back against Dallas, going against a weakened Milwaukee team without Giannis. And I think that LeVert at 6,000 is a pretty good play in his price range. Barton should be returning. He's probable. I just don't, he's the inconsistency of Barton is a thing that worries me there. Josh Hart feels pretty safe at 5,900. He should do well against OKC, and I like Josh Hart, as well as without Dort. I really like Josh Giddey to get a few more extra minutes instead of playing 30. I like Giddey to play maybe 32 to 35 minutes tonight, and at 5,800, he should be a vital part of OKC's success if they want to win at home. I don't really like the rise in Simon's price. I'm not interested in playing him because he's a high point scoring guy. He's too scoring dependent for me to trust at that price point. If George comes back, I don't like Man as much. Norm Powell on the back-to-back. Norm Powell has been playing pretty good. Put up 23 last night against Phoenix, one of the best teams in the league. And he put up 26 against Golden State. So Norm Powell at 5,700 going against in a home game against Memphis. I like him again. Hardaway's kind of scoring dependent, so it's hard to kind of trust him. Finney Smith, I feel, is just slightly overpriced. As we drop down, Caleb Martin has potential because he still was playing high minutes, but with LaMelo back, no, I don't really like Caleb Martin as much tonight, remembering that. And, Terrence Ross at 4,800. Last two games, Clippers, Lakers, you see, and the Kings. He's gotten high minutes, and he's gotten excellent production. So I like Terrence Ross at 4,800. Aaron Brooks should play a lot more tonight without Eric Gordon. He's $4,800, and I expect him to play at least 30 minutes. And I definitely like Aaron Brooks tonight. And dropping on down, one guy I think is in play tonight, especially with the news of Middleton, is Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen just 4K. He's been hitting 5X with guys in, so With them out, he's got potential. If you want to pivot off him, David Nwaba put in 11 minutes, put up 23 fantasy points. If he gets minutes against Cleveland, former team, I could see Nwaba doing good there. Dropping down. At that point, that's pretty much my analysis at shooting guard. I would say Ty Jerome may get more minutes too tonight with Dort not being in. So that currently is a breakdown at the shooting guard position. Small forward. LeBron, obviously, I like him tonight. The news on PG-13. He is questionable for this evening, so stay on the news about that. Brandon Ingram, soft matchup, balling lately. Put up 50, 43 points his last two, so he's definitely around value or exceeding it. I'm looking past Charlotte. If Middleton's in, he's automatically one of the best plays on the slate. Chris Middleton has a hyperextended left knee. He didn't return, so that type of injury, you might need a little more time to recover. So I'm kind of leaning towards him not playing today. Now, also with the potential news of Christian Wood, Jayshawn Tate, man, 6,300, man, he looks like a nice play for Houston because if Wood doesn't play, Tate could go off tonight. I love his price, 6,300 for his potential, especially if Wood doesn't play. So stay on the news about that. Talked about Brooks and LeVert and Connington. Darius Baisley he's 5,900. He's been hitting around his mark, and he's playing around 30 minutes. So at 5,900, he's in play. But I like Josh Hart just a little bit more. And if I had to go between those three, maybe go with Norm Powell. Harrison Barnes, I would love him over all of them, but 24 and 21 minutes, his minutes went down. They're going down. And I seen him go to the locker room one day against Charlotte a few games back, so a little worried about that. Nance, 5,400, starting 28, 31 fantasy points over value. So Nance has a lot of potential tonight. I would put him in my player pool as well. And Danilo Gallinari, he's been doing pretty good. 23 and 17 the last two, but he's been getting more minutes in production. But if you want to drop down, we still like Terrence Ross. Kenrich Williams may be a great play tonight. As you see, when he's in the mid-20s or more, 38 and 29 fantasy points, 3 and 4 back. I love Kendrick Williams tonight. That's somebody you should definitely want to look at, Kenrich Williams for OKC. Dropping down, if you want to save on Gallinari, look at Cam Reddish, 27 minutes, 23 fantasy points. He back, y'all. Cam Reddish could be definitely essential play tonight. And also a shoot guard and I believe small forward eligible, Herter. But, if I had to choose between the two, Herter should do well tonight, but Cam Reddish looks like he's on the upward trend. So that is pretty much it. Rodney Hood should get some minutes, but I believe that our boy for George Hill is back. So with George Hill being back, I don't really like him at all. So that, and then I would look at George Hill potentially. What's George Hill's price? George Hill, where are you at, George? George Hill is just 3,800. And if he comes back and plays a nice load of minutes against Indiana, I think that could be a potential guy in play as well. Moving to power forward, if AD plays, he's 1,200 cheaper than LeBron. This could be an AD play. He's in play, as well, of course, with LeBron. I do like Sabonis. He's 9,000. He's definitely been at or above value in three of his last four. And we like him. Porzingis with no Luka. He put up 54 fantasy points in only 25 minutes. So that's something, if you feel like he'll do good against the Lakers, I believe Dwight Howard is out. potential that we can get some DeAndre Jordan tonight. Depending on, AD plans, stay on top of that because we'll definitely like LeBron more as well on this slate. So Jared Allen, 8,500. He played 32 minutes, but his production wasn't too good. Miami, they shut down Giannis, and they also shut down Jared Allen. Much softer matchup today against Houston. Jared Allen in play, 8,500. For Cleveland. Also, shout out to Isaac Okoro. He's been doing pretty well. I believe he's just like 4,500. Don't forget about him today. If Christian Wood plays, he should be a pretty good play. But right under him, because of no Giannis, yeah, Portis is priced up, but with no Giannis, he could easily put up 50 or better. He's 7,700. So even though his price tag is high, he's the type of guy, not to sleep on this slate. I think Evan Mobley, his price, I just think with Allen being there, his potential is kind of limited, but I do see his ceiling in the 40s. Wendell Carter is up to 7K. Miles Turner, 6,500. If that game is close, you'll definitely want him. Here's a great play. Jaren Jackson, 6,400, 26 minutes, 36 fantasy points. Plays 30 or more minutes. He's going to put up 45, 50 fantasy points tonight. You gotta like him. I also I love Tate, especially if Wood doesn't play tonight. Gordon should be back, but with Jokic, don't really like him as much. If you want to look in the 5K range, Jared Vanderbilt, last two, 32, 34. He's overvalued, so he's definitely in play. Sengun, another thing. If if Wood doesn't play Sengun, last two, 40, 32 fantasy points, they unleash Sengun. So Sengun, even though his price tag's elevated, his potential is massive at his price. I even like coming back with Kevin Love off the bench. He been balling. Two of his last three, 43, 33 fantasy points, 5,300. Soft matchup against Houston. Don't sleep on Kevin Love at all tonight. Also, let's see. Dropping down. I would like Morris, but they're in a tough matchup against Utah, so I don't like him as much at 5,900. I'd like him more if he was a little less, if he was down around 52, 5,300 range. And, dropping down, I did see that Kenyon Martin, that's another value. That's a potential value play. 27 minutes, man. They done upped his minutes. If Wood don't play, he going to play that many. And Kenyon Martin, Martin, he definitely ball at 4,400 with almost 27 fantasy points last game. That is about it. Oh, Alex Lynn, he's starting. Played 23, 21 minutes. He's around value, but if any games he plays over 20 minutes, like 25 to 30, Alex Lynn at 4,100, he'll crush that. So that's the breakdown for the power forward. Finally, we get to the center position. Up top, Jokic, 11-5 against Minnesota, against the Big Cat and Company. 72, 71 fantasy points. Y'all know who to play. Nikola Jokic. He been balling. They need him. Even with Barton back, he a monster. So I love him. And B hurt a lot of people's feelings last game. They scratched him after the game locked. So people, I'm sorry that happened to you guys. But anyway, and B 10-5 Miami. I'll pass. I'll pay up for the extra banjo, extra $1,000 for Jokic. Dropping down AD just 10K against Dallas. I still prefer Jokic, but AD in play. The Big Cat, 9,400. He hasn't been hitting value. He had a game back, but that was 41 minutes against the Hawks. So, he's 9,400. It's lucrative, but I'm going to stay away from that today as well. Dropping down, talked about a lot of these guys. Clint Capella, Orlando. He's definitely around value, and he's exceeded it a few times based on his current price tag, 2 of his last 3. So I definitely think Capella should be in play. Jonas Valanciunas, 7,600. Soft matchup against OKC. He might go crazy tonight. So you want to really consider J Val as well as dropping down. Poeltl. He been balling. That's a pace up. Put up 47.9 last time. He really balled out on J Val and company. So if you want to pivot off him, save a little money, go to Puerto tonight, 6,800. Super fast lightning matchup. Charlotte 25th against the position. They're horrible against them, that position, so look out for him. Dropping down, Nurkic, 5,900. They done lowered his price from last game. Yesterday, he just put up 42 fantasy points. So Nurkic, 5,900. Definitely a guy in that mid-range I would prefer as well. So that is about it. Let's drop down. Of course, Jordan 4K. If he start, look, 9 minutes, 20 fantasy points. He 5X in 9 minutes. If AD don't play, and with how we're already out, whether AD play or not, if he get 15 minutes or so, he might crush that tag. So I want to throw that last mention out as well. So that's my FanDuel slate breakdown. We did a lineup. Let's see. Let's make a lineup, guys. Let's do a mock lineup here. My core play, I would say, would probably be off the top. Go with, Drew Holiday. Who else will you go with? We could take Trae Young, and I'll go down and drop down in that same game with Drew because I paid up for the guards. I tell you what, who we'll go with? That extra usage out of Ross, and we'll go with we could go with Giddey and them, but we'll drop down to if I anticipate Middleton to be out, that automatically put Grayson Allen where you could get 25 to 35 fantasy points at that price range. So I'll go with Grayson Allen. And then for the small forward position, we'll lock it down with, let's see who we should go with here. I'm just making a good lineup off the top, a nice hand build. Sometimes I know they talk about the optimized lineups and they're good and all, but I love doing some hand build lineups. Let's go back up here. Let's find somebody based on the news. I could go with Lillard. What's the safer play? I like Tate upside tonight. And see if we can kind of keep it more of a balanced lineup for this evening slate. And you know what? I'll go with Caris LeVert. And that leaves around 7,000 left for the position. Let's go with Bobby Portis, our boy Portis tonight. We got 65 left. Porzingis. Who would I go with? Porzingis. Oh, Jaren Jackson. Definitely. What does that leave us with? Who does that give us a chance to get tonight? Miles Turner. I could drop down to Nurkic. So, who would I elevate? LeVert to get who? No, I think LeVert's a good play as well. You know what? Let's go with the Indiana matchup. Milwaukee with no Giannis. That softens them up. Let's go with the Miles Turner move. That was hit. So we got a lineup in. So it's your main man, Mr. OG DFS. If you like to break down the analysis, like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about me. I love doing analysis. I love playing DFS. So I wish everyone the best of luck today. And make sure you take the players that you like, put them in your player pool. Roll with whoever you have. If you got a subscription to a service, we don't have that here yet, but eventually we should hope to get to that point. But much love to everyone. Happy holidays. It's Mr. OG DFS. I'm out. if I know how to get out. It's been a while. We're going to cut it off and start it over.